Because I'm thinking something along the lines of, do you like having a donkey around but don't like feeding it? Then try the asthmatic. It's the robot donkey. We won't give you any stick. There will be no carrot and no stick. The asthmatic from JML.
Yeah. It's always from JML. Do you have a cat? Do you have dirty floors? Try the pet mop.
Do you like having a dog but miss the convenience of wearing stilts? It's that voice. I just really enjoyed doing that. It
Do you
makes
have a rooster and is it getting places you don't want it to be? Try the new cock blocker from JML. Hello again, everybody. You're listening to Twin Humanities, the Dark Souls podcast.
I'm not Paddy.
No, you're not. Well done. I am Paddy. I'm not Coffee, though. I'm not CJ.
No,
Who are you?
I'm CJ.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad we've got all that sorted.
Hello. I'm Rod Stewart. Hey, no, something better. I don't know. I don't know what that even goes like.
This is off to a bad start again.
No, I think this is a wonderful start. This is the gravy of life, my friend, poured upon our meat and potatoes.
and then soaked up by the bread of after dinner conversation.
Don't ruin it. Oh my god, you always ruin it.
I'm sorry. You don't.
ZOMFG.
You need to give me more headway on these metaphors. I don't have time. I just have to say the first thing that comes out of my mouth, and often I don't really get lucky on that front. But yes, you are listening to a podcast that is about Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Last week, what did we do last week?
I don't remember what we did last week. I think I was knackered from coming in from work. And
Done a lot since last week. Was it Bed of Chaos last week? It was, wasn't it?
Let's just think. Yes, it was Bed of Chaos. That's true.
Can't even trump in remember.
That sounds like the most heavy metal shop for buying places to sleep for your room, doesn't it? Do you like heavy metal? Do you like sleeping comfortably at night? Come to Bed of Chaos.
No, I think of that a different way. I think that's you go to B&Q, and it's more on the lines of, do you have a garden? Are you also a fan of Cthulhu? Try the new Bed of Chaos.
That would work.
Yeah.
Let the soothing tones of Pantera lure you through our doors and into Bed of Chaos.
What are we even talking about anymore?
I don't know. I think we either ruined it or made it better. But yes, since last time, Patrick had been, frankly, to quote from the Bible, a dirty bitch, and had been running around in the game without me and leveling up and doing lots of levels on his own. And I do believe that the Bible said that masturbation was a crime. And then when, oh, shall we finish the game? And I was like, what? Where have you? How have you? When? And so we were going to. I looked back on the character that I started to help Pat out with his game, and that character hadn't been to certain areas because he'd been swanning around.
Well, it's not my fault. You sometimes you weren't there.
It's entirely your fault. That and the fact that I'm balancing characters on about two systems.
Yes.
And so I delved into the character that I started when I'd first begun the Prepare to Die edition on my own before Pat and I started playing, which was about the second character that I'd done on Dark Souls. I'd done a character on the original, which I finished the game and gone into New Game Plus with. But when I got Prepare to Die edition on PS3, I'd started a character there. Then I got a certain way in with that character, started a new one with you, and at a certain point, they'd more or less reached the same level. And then, if you're still with us and you've not fallen into a coma, then I realised that with the character that I was going to use, that there were actually a lot of levels that I'd not done. So we kind of, in many ways, fannied about, tidying them up. But I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of evenings of running around working out which bosses that your other bro hadn't done.
Yeah,
And if I'm not mistaken, at the point where we started doing this, we thought that one guy was missing a single boss, so we carried on with the other guy instead, didn't we?
that was it. Yeah,
Yeah, and then we realised that the guy we were doing had missed like four of them.
but had been to the area that that the other one hadn't.
Yeah, but by that point we'd kind of invested by that point, I think, and I think we had to finish it. So we've revisited. Where did we go again this week? We went back to Izalith.
We went to the Four Kings as well,
Yes, we did.
and met our old friends, the Dark Wraiths.
Yeah. Nito. We did Nito again.
We did.
Yeah.
One thing I have to say, because we've done a couple, and we've done at least three Nito battles now. One
Yeah,
in your
definitely.
game, one in my game with the other character,
Hmm.
and then this game. Every time we've done that battle, it's been completely different.
Yeah. I
It's
would
been
like to. I'd like to pose the position that this was the worst one we did this
I
week.
don't
This is the worst that we've done that fight because we didn't plan so good this time.
I don't know. I think there was a the previous time that we'd done it, we pretty much went in there and we trolleyed the skellies pretty quickly. You
Yep.
were taking on Nito, then I went in behind him and started hammering him, and it was all over before you knew it.
Mm.
This time we kind of went in there and Nito threw out a long distance attack really early,
Yeah.
which separated us. I ran for the back of the chamber, thinking that I'd go and sneak in behind him. Loads of the skeletons followed me,
Yep.
and
You managed to run into the big ones as well, didn't you?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
you were like, "But you're the one with the divine weapon." I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry."
Yeah, I was stood there fighting the first two skeletons that kept getting back up again. I was like, I don't have a divine weapon. You
I know
took it and ran away.
I'm sure there was a certain point where you said, "Oh yeah, I'm done with these skeletons," and I got there, and you being done with the skeletons just meant they'd fallen on the floor.
Yeah, and then they immediately got back up
Yeah,
behind me.
because I'd
Yeah.
gotten used to using the demon spear again, as I have been on this character,
Mm.
and I'm sure that I've brought up with this guy. Sorry, I'm outside the Artorias boss gate, but I'm pretty sure that I've brought up with this guy before.
Oh, I
Never
missed that.
mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Moving on.
but I forgot where I was now. It's alright. I'm just bowing between three people.
Neo.
Yeah, and I'd swapped out to the to Astoria's straight sword, which is an amazing thing to use when you're having a run at the skells anyway.
Yeah.
It's probably the best the best weapon that I've used against the skeletons. But I don't know. I had less time to think about my attacks,
Yeah, you
so
just kind of
I,
ran
I had to
away.
I had to get up close, and especially with the big lads,
Hmm.
that wasn't so great. But we managed to turn it round at a certain point.
We did, yeah. We managed to deal with it. Like Neo's, you could kind of because I was chucking my pyromancy and a lot of it missed because he kept moving around. And then I went to my combustion and I kind of just stood in front of him
Mm.
and he didn't bother. It was like dead, 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 dead. It was a piece of piss.
You might be concentrating on me though, because in
Yeah,
my game we've found that with the bosses that a lot of the time
they hate they hate the player. They don't hate the friend.
yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting fun. You know, going back through two giants, trying not to pant ourselves going through.
I'd
Um,
wager that fight with Nito was probably the most enjoyable that we've had.
yeah, because it went south.
Well, it just because things didn't go as expected from the off.
Hmm.
I think that we panicked, and then we kind of rallied ourselves with experience and managed to pull it in. But um, before that, I don't know. It was just the way things turned around. It was very very filmic, very cinematic how we were divided and
Yeah,
we were hit by that long distance attack, and then we managed to rein it in. I know afterwards, and this is always a good sign with the game, when afterwards you go,
yeah. Take a breath,
because
dial down.
that great aspect when you're bro upping and one person is controlling the Estus for two of you. That's really good fun, because you're not just mindful of yourself in your own battle, but you have to look at a status bar in the distance, and
And that was a
with us,
delightful little image as well. There, I'm drinking for two.
well, it is, isn't it? No, more tea bicker.
Yeah,
Um,
you are the Dark Souls mother, and I am the Dark Souls baby.
but when you can't see, yeah, check out me boob. Uh, uh,
Fucking hell.
do you like boobs? Do you like Dark Souls? There's no punchline to that.
Yeah, move on.
Um, yes, but I think there was a certain point where I couldn't even see your status bar, and because we were Skyping at the same time as we were doing the game, you were like, "I need some Estus over here."
Yeah, I was panicking. It was fun though. I enjoyed it in
Yeah,
that kind
it
of
was
oh
great,
god, it's all gone terribly wrong kind of way.
and also
Um,
because we've been cramming so many days worth of gaming in consecutively,
mm,
it was a real sense of momentum, which was fantastic. I felt even more lost in the world than I normally am because
yeah,
you were immersed in it from the off.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, like doing it. I mean, where I've been spreading it out over time, it does kind of. It doesn't. I wouldn't say it dilutes the experience, but I'd say that I'm kind of taking each area as its own area. You sort of see the links between them, but I don't often go back and see a lot of it at once.
Yeah,
So this last couple of days have been great because we've been seeing all the different bosses and different areas, and completely forgetting how to do all the fights. I mean, particularly when we went back to fight the Four Kings with your friend, running back in and nearly losing all my Estus just on the Dark Wraiths on the way there.
or the Five Kings as they
The
became.
five, yeah, yeah. So for everyone listening, basically, we decided to go fight the Four Kings again because your hunter bro hadn't done them, and so we decided to go and do the Four Kings and catch up. So we dropped down into the inky blackness of the abyss. And we sort of see the first king, and I think it was a tougher fight in general than I've had with those before. Uh, I
Um,
found it harder because I did them
I
on my
don't.
own.
I've soloed them before, so it's
Yeah,
that was terrifying.
yeah. Well, when I soloed them in one run, like I was amazed at how easy. I thought this is going to be really hard.
Mm.
So we drop down, and the first one turns up, and we go a bit on the offensive, and it's a bit tricky. Um, and we hadn't killed the first one by the time the second one turned up.
Yeah, he got a little bit of energy bar remaining,
Mm.
and the second one kept getting in the way, didn't he? Like
Yeah, they kind of
coming
sat
forward.
right together and were kind of forming almost an attack barrier that was very hard to penetrate with
Mm.
bodies. So then I think we ended up sort of separating them out somehow. I don't know how, by a combination of panicking and running. I think they divided up so we could take them out one by one.
Mm.
I was definitely up close and personal when two of them died. Like
We
they
we
died in front of me. I was like, okay,
we
two,
definitely killed two of them.
two.
I'm sure the fight ended
Mm.
when we got three more on screen.
Yeah. So I mean, at one
I'm not
point there
making that
were
up.
no.
I'm not going mad. I can't be going mad on that.
There were definitely before the end. There were definitely three of them on screen. I killed one, or we killed one, should I say? And then another one showed up, and they still had they all of them had like half their health bar left.
Because I was saying to you, there's another one coming. You were like, what?
Yeah, I was like I thought it was the Four Kings. I've definitely killed the two of them died, and
We were
they
doing
had half their health bar left. It's like okay, you win now. It's like what?
we were doing like we're doing now. We were trying to rationalize it for ourselves. So like we have killed two of them.
Yeah, we were trying to count. Like I've killed one, and that one died over there, and we got that one, and it was bonkers. I didn't understand what was happening, and it just seemed to let us win at that point
Yeah, it was.
because I thought we still had a lot of health to go off because there were two, and like one of them we barely touched.
It was a bit chicken oriental, certainly.
Yeah, it was strange, shall we say?
Yeah.
But
Hey, you know, it's Four Kings. Have a fifth one.
do you like the Four Kings?
Yeah.
Do you also like the number 5?
Welcome to Four King Hell, when there are actually five kings. Where you will stand there where the fifth king arrives and say, "Four King Hell." That's the fifth king. Fifth king is only available from JML. Buy now and get 3 bottles of orange cleaner, absolutely free.
Oh, it's brilliant because that's what happened.
It was.
So yeah, anyway, I don't matter. A win's a win. Do you know what I mean? I'll take a win. Boss
Yeah.
is dead. Win's a win. Doesn't matter. So yeah, after a bit of running around and farting about, finally today We went to the kiln of the first flame.
I think we've got to rewind and backtrack here because
Well,
people don't know just how insanely playground you were when it came to the dark wraiths and the ghosts in New Londo Ruins.
oh, geez,
Because there was a
yeah, God.
certain part where I was trying to get down there through. I think I was going via Valley of the Drakes,
Hmm.
and you just started monkeying around, and all of a sudden you just hear this, oh, oh no, oh my God, no! And it was a jolly good giggle.
Yeah, the problem was is that I had my ghost blade and I was taking out the ghosts and all was well and good. And then I thought I was done with the ghosts, so I put it away and I went back to my normal setup. And then I was rolling through, and then a couple of dart rays come out of nowhere and a ghost, and I didn't know what to do. And there was no room to get because I was stood on the little bridge between where you drop down to fight the four kings. It's like a little bridge and a kind of a not a turret, but like a little round building that you drop in. And one of the ghosts was sitting on that bridge, and I didn't have a ghost weapon or a curse weapon. I didn't have any curse items. I didn't have any curse weapons. I was just at the mercy of this ghost trying to make it move out of my goddamn way.
But
And
I couldn't really say that much because there was a bit where I was waiting for you where you trolleyed off to speak to Sean, I think.
hmm.
And I just started running around almost accidentally. Went up an elevator to be greeted by ghosts, and I got no transient curse whatsoever. And then I screamed and ran away. One was standing in the doorway that hit me, and then ran away again and was on some sort of ledge. And I looked back, um, and there were about 6 or 7 of them just queuing up down this ledge, like, can I have a hit of him next, please?
Delicious
So,
undead buffet.
mm.
Yeah, so New Londo Ruins is still pretty scary. Even if you're prepared for it, I still found it quite scary. Especially the dart race that come out of nowhere and they just run at you like, oh Christ!
I think there's that aspect with the dark race. As said before, that they are incredibly quiet,
Mm.
but the floor that you walk upon with all those skulls is crunchy, crunchy, crunchy.
Yeah, they come towards you on their tiny silent cat feet.
And they do still remind me of Frank from Donnie Darko.
Let's give him a pair of ears. Job done.
Oh, honestly.
Okay, so yeah, so we trolleyed through. We finished off like what felt like 9 bosses.
Mhm.
Um,
And then we went to the world's biggest ready break bowl, ready for the final countdown.
yes, the Lord Vessel. Some would say a Weetabix bowl. Some might say shredded wheat.
I'd say
Uh,
ready break because of that glow.
no, I think it's more of a Weetabix bowl.
No,
We're talking about the Lord Vessel, by the way.
how can it be a Weetabix bowl when Ready Break adverts used to have those orange glows from eating Ready Break? Weetabix has never had that in an
No,
advert.
no, but it's Weetabix because it's Weetabix bowl for me because I put 4 things in it. I always have as much Weetabix. I always have 3 or 4 Weetabix. So like it's Weetabix, 4 Weetabix.
God, you're so out of touch.
And sprinkle over a delightful sole dressing on the top. Tasty. So I opened the door. The door swings open. There's a little cutscene, and you look down. It's kind of dark. You think, okay, what's going on here? And then as you pad down the stairs, and you advised me to walk. So
Well,
I
it's
walked.
quite
Yeah,
ironic if you were padding down the stairs.
it's ironic. I like it. I very silently CJ'd down this. That doesn't work.
No.
Sashayed. CJ'd, sashay. It's close.
Do you like CJ? Do you like sachets? Try CJ Sachet by JML Prams.
Say that again.
CJ Sachet.
um,
I'm
Yeah.
Sean Connery, and when I'm not acting, I like sachet of CJ.
So I
Wonder.
sashayed down the stairs.
Yeah.
And as you go down, you see some shapes moving in the distance. You think, oh Christ, what's that? Is that a dude? And it's kind of walking across the stairs, kind of perpendicular to you. Not perpendicular, what's the word? Yeah, perpendicular. Across. And then you see one close up, and it looks like it's either a silver or a black knight. Ghost, almost, walking across these stairs. Which was weird.
Yeah, I think that's an incredible sight to see because Solaire mentions early on that these are strange times when heroes from all across eons are walking amongst us and stuff, and it just feels
Mm.
it just has a certain resonance.
Well, I immediately
That
put my shield up and ran away. Like I was, like, oh geez, and then it occurred they weren't going to attack, so I
you
tried.
go brave, bro.
Brave bro. So yeah, poddled down those stairs, and yeah, came out in well, what might be the world's actual largest cereal bowl.
Mhm.
A big round-looking area that looked a little bit like an Orlando, but
Looked
broken.
a little bit Ulysses as well. A little
Yeah,
bit of the place that houses the arena that houses Artorias. It also looks a little bit like the place in the Painted World as well, where all the crow people sit atop
yeah.
their mighty spires.
It,
But that would tie into Velka as well, because it's the crow people as servants of Velka, and it was Velka that pulled you out of the undead asylum. The crow in Japanese is Karas, which is seen as a symbol of revenge as well.
yeah, Japanese words.
Mhm.
You've done your homework. I like it. But yeah, I really liked like the view as you come out those bottom stairs. Like you say, it does. Now you say it. Now you said that. I think it does remind me quite a bit of the Painted World.
Yeah.
Kind of a little sort of a sort of passageway to it, and then a sort of citadel of sorts
Hmm.
that you go into. And it's just again, it's like the inside of Anor Londo when you get up and you can kind of see the walls circling all the way around, and it's big and there's stuff there. But this time it's big and empty. Like there's literally like the citadel in the middle, some kind of bits of mountain, but there's no real buildings apart from that. It's there.
But they lull you into a wonderful false sense of security, because they give you those vast landscapes,
Mm.
and hiding betwixt them are some very powerful Black Knights, has to be said.
Yes, yes. I mean, we tried to meet up here for a good 10 minutes, didn't we? We
Mm.
both ended up getting invaded. In our own individual games, we both got invaded at different times. So I panicked and just brought in the first two guys I could see. Because when the fog door was going up, I was like, "Why is the fog door up? Oh crap!" Right,
Mm.
ran, found some people, brought them in quickly before we trolleyed on through. And nothing really happened, so I decided to push on with them and thought I can push on a bit, and then when I eventually die, when the invader turns up, we can meet up properly.
Mm.
So we trolley forward, take out the first Black Knight, and my helpers were actually very, very helpful. There was one guy that was a backstab wizard.
Well, this was
It
the
was
point
great,
where
yeah.
I was running on in my own game,
Mm,
and the plan was that when you fought this invader, that if one of them died, you'd wait around, I'd jump back into your game and sort of try and help you out.
exactly, yeah, and it was a good plan in theory. But yeah, as I trolleyed on, the invader turned up, and we're like, okay, right, where is he? We sort of ran. I think as the invader turned up, all three of us in my game were running towards like a thin bridge bit, like a bit of ruin to run over. As soon as it said so and so's invaded, we all turned around at the exact same time and ran back to the wide open space.
Was it boy band manipulation? Was it like where you were effectively the monkeys?
Yeah, yeah,
Here
it was.
we come.
It was.
Just need your surfboards.
It was almost like when boy bands stand up in the key change. We all went oh, and just it was perfectly timed. It was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful moment, and I'm glad to have shared it with people.
Mm.
To turn around and run like buggers. So we trolleyed back and we saw the invader, and we actually got rid of them somehow, which was astonishing because I don't think I've beaten an invader in weeks.
Mm.
So yeah, felt emboldened by that. So we cracked on, picked up the Black Knight gear, which I'm very, very interested with.
And the Black Knight sword as well, yeah.
Yeah, Black Knight sword, which was the bloody one thing that I wanted to drop from a Black Knight for the entire game and never happened.
Oh,
Of
it's got
course,
a great R2 attack as well, as you might have seen from one of the Black Knights. But
yeah.
and also I got one of the Black Knights did an amazing axe attack on me where they jumped in the air and sort of smashed down on the floor, which made me go, oh. Part of me was sort of going, oh no, and part of me was going, oh, that's ace.
That's awesome, but please don't hit me.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we trolleyed on forwards, we got to the next fog door. Me and my two random friends.
Mm.
We got to the fog door, sort of stopped there, and I think we conversed a little bit about where we were. Like, I was like, "There's a big white fog door." Um, I think you thought that wasn't the end.
No, for some reason I got into my head that it was a bit more of a trek towards Gwyn,
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I'll go through and I'll do this bit, and then we'll reconnect it as we get to Gwyn. So I trolley on through the door. Health bar appears. Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, and he starts running at me. It's like, ah! And I think I made that exact ah kind of noise.
It's happening
It's
now.
happening! I wasn't ready. It's happening! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! So I panted it, as you do. Panted it, cacked it one. Oh geez! Oh geez! Oh geez! My friends joined me quite quickly, and we kind of ran around and spiraled around. And I was just kind of in that kind of mode where you're like, oh, just throw
Do you
fireballs
get
at
the
him.
the impression that this is a run that they've done a lot?
Maybe,
I
maybe
don't,
they
I don't
were.
know how many souls you get from killing Gwyn,
It was a
but
big number, definitely a
yeah,
big number.
that might be the reason why they're doing it then.
Yeah, but my helpers were actually they were very helpful helpers. It was a good three-way split of how we were doing the damage because I was looking at the numbers coming at the bottom as we were doing it, and it felt like a good three-way team. It didn't feel like I was just standing there and they were killing him for me, which has happened once or twice when I've helped people online. You see one really really leveled up bro that just runs ahead, beats it, and walks off,
Yeah.
which isn't nice. But yeah, it felt like a three-way, a team effort, which was good. So yeah, it got scared, ran around. I'm not sure what to think of Gwyn. I didn't really get a good look at him the entire time because he spent
Mm.
the most of the time kind of on fire and running at me, and I spent a lot of it kind of shield up, panicking, running away.
And
So
were they doing sort of a lot of the heavy lifting then at this point?
they were at at the start of the fight, yes, because I wasn't sure what to deal with him. But yeah, and once we kind of got him a bit distracted, it became a bit easier to jump in and have a pop and chuck some
Yeah.
fireballs up his bum. But yeah, I didn't really get a good look at Gwyn, but mainly because there was so much fire flying around.
Mm.
I think he throws fire spells. I was throwing pyromancy. I'm pretty sure at least one of the other people was a dragon head, so they were belching fire on him.
Cool.
And it was just this big orangey mess of explosion with a health bar that was trickling down in the middle of it. But it was. I feel like it was an easy fight.
I've not done that fight with three people,
Mm.
because when I done it on my original run on Dark Souls, um, it was just me at that point because I hadn't done any barrel hopping on that first run, and I remember I think it was as the game came out in the October. I'm sure I was finishing it in somewhere like April or May.
Okay.
And that's even with my month's hiatus from finally getting through Tomb of the Giants and getting to Nito and not having a divine weapon and literally having to summon the energy to be able to make that long run again. Um, and that day, I'm sure my hands were just sweating like there was like, you're really close to finishing it. Come on.
He's almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'd like to fight him again, because I did beat him and I did win. Just for those who are keeping count, I did beat him and I was rather happy. You seem quite surprised, like, oh, is he dead? It's like, yeah.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure I had a bit more of a to do with him fight wise because it was just me on my own. I'm sure I was trying to defend against his attacks and
Mm.
find where I could get an in to
To get have a bit.
yeah to throw in
Mm.
either magic or pyromancy or whichever it was. And it took me a good few tries that first run.
Mm. I mean, it reminds me a lot. Like the actual setup of it, it reminds me a lot of the Artorias fight.
Hmm.
But, and I might catch some flack for this, it reminded me of that, but more manageable. And I don't know if that's because I had three friends. If I'd have tried it on my own, maybe it would have been a different story. But it felt like he was just a guy. He didn't feel like this big ultimate badass. He just felt like a guy.
Well, Gwyn had such a lot of himself taken by the flame.
Mm.
As far as I can tell, maybe he was just at his weakest at that point.
Yeah.
But the fight itself, Miyazaki wanted to have a boss that it didn't matter if you concentrated on magic or pyromancy or physical or
You can a boss that you can beat regardless of the path that you have taken.
yeah, a boss that would be a challenge. But I think he was disappointed by Gwyn, and there is a lot to appreciate with the the original Dark Souls that they released it on a deadline, and there were a few bits that the team weren't happy with, or maybe weren't happy with how they ended up. So, um, and one of the things that got cut was what became the DLC, and which is probably why the DLC feels really polished.
Yeah, definitely. The DLC, it feels like its own complete unit, but it still slots really, really nicely into others there. It does feel
Yeah,
like they've had the time to go back and make sure everything just locks in and everything is perfect.
and the way that they pulled the strings of the story together was just a joy.
And see, now what I think with Gwyn, what I think with, I think I think I'd have preferred to fight. I mean, I don't know. It's
Would
it
you
reminds.
prefer to?
I'm having problems articulating myself. I think I've worked it out now. It reminds me a bit of Manhunt.
Okay.
But I didn't play Manhunt, but I read a lot about it. It was this big. If you're not aware of Manhunt, it was this kind of game by I think it was Rockstar about a guy who was killing people like a snuff film. You got points for kind of killing people with a plastic bag over the face, or jamming a pen in their neck or something like that. It was horrible. It was a horrible, horrible game. It wasn't even that good. It was just controversial. It was a Daily Mail bait, definitely.
Yep.
But I remember hearing about the end of that game, how you get through to like the final boss, and it's not really a boss. It's just a guy. He's the guy in charge, but he's not really a boss. He's just a guy.
Mm.
And I always thought that was really, really interesting. Like you're fighting like the boss, but in the kind of a more real world sense of just he's the man in charge. He's not like a super beast.
Yeah.
He's not a 10 foot tall, super strong, super powerful man with a pig's mask. He's just a guy. And that's interesting. And like that rings sort of true a bit with this one in Dark Souls. He doesn't feel like a big unstoppable badass. He just feels like a guy.
It may well be that like I say, that he's a man whose power is nearly ended. That his time is nearly over.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the impression that this was the same man that killed all the dragons.
Yeah,
Or participated, sorry, in killing the dragons, should we say?
I get the feeling he's a much weaker property at this point, and if
He's old, he's diminished. His life is sort of thin.
well, is that part of one of the possible legacies within the fact that you are the chosen undead, and that one of the endings is to, if you light the bonfire, is to essentially replace Gwyn and burn yourself to kill the kill the flame, to keep the flame going, and the other option is to walk away and create the age of darkness, where all of this sham and all of these lies end, and presumably humanity or whatever comes next can rise again.
Yeah, it ends the age of the undead.
Yeah.
Because so let's talk about the endings. Let's talk about the endings because we're there now. The ending I ended up choosing by accident.
I chose it by accident as well.
Yeah, was the Age of Darkness ending because we were still at that point where I'd beaten him and I was kind of stood there in the final area going, shit, what do I do? Should I help you with your game? Yes. So we decided to try and bro up again, didn't we? I thought, right, I'll run back to the bonfire and we'll do that. Okay, brilliant, good. I ran to the door. I got through the door, and then the cutscene happened. I was like, I think I've ended the game. Oops, I may not be able to help. And yeah, the ending I chose was the Age of Darkness ending, where you walk out of the door, and there are maybe, 12, 14, maybe more of those primordial serpents, like Frampt and Karth, and they're all there, and they bow at you. Like you've done their what they wanted you to do, in a way. It does mention by name both Frampt and Karth at the end.
Well,
So
I'm sure I heard this on Bonfire Side Chat, and I may well be sort of talking out my arse here, but if you don't kill Solaire, I believe Solaire is available for that last battle.
I've heard as much, yeah.
And this is the bit that I may well be wrapping my ears around in the wrong way, but that it's Solaire that lights the flame.
Wow.
And
I
that,
was just I was thinking that as you were saying that, like, would Solaire be the man who kills the flame?
yeah, because that would be essentially he would become, like, would be his very own son. But it's one of those things that's for me is wrapped in mystery, and I know they said that Solaire is available for that final fight, but I don't know if the Solaire lighting the flame happens, or I don't know. I'll have to listen again. But very
Yeah.
cool if that's the case.
You think you'd know, like you think you'd have heard about it if it had though. I
I,
really like that. I thought that would have been a great ending.
but
Seeing
where would
Solaire,
that?
like your job was you weren't the chosen undead. You were helping Solaire the whole time.
Yeah. Well,
That would have been great.
well, you got to think that it's Solaire of Astoria.
Mm-hmm.
That the guy who's the guy that helps you at the start. I'm sure he's from Astoria as well. Astoria as
Uh,
well.
well, the blacksmith,
No,
Andre.
the guy who gets knocked through the roof by the asylum demon.
Oh,
The guy who actually he actually
yeah.
helps you at the start.
I think yeah. I agree. Yeah, I know the one you mean. I believe he is I don't know his name, but I'm sure it's someone of Astoria.
Yeah, because he's an undead favorite. So maybe um, that's the thing um, that this the chosen undead is there to perhaps guide Solaire.
Mm.
I don't know. I could be talking out my backside here, but
But it's a lovely theory, isn't it?
it is. It's a really good one, and also it's a nice twist on the hero's journey, because often when the chosen one is found, they're the one that walks the path that becomes the eventual hero. But
Mm.
to be actually the person that doesn't do that, that's there as it seems for somebody else to take that final moment, is especially someone that's caught you off guard a little bit
Mm.
perhaps, because
Yeah.
everybody loves Solaire.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Find me
Solaire
somebody
is
that does
yes.
not love Solaire, and I think you'd be searching for a long time. Because even as we were saying on the previous podcast, that if you kill him, uh, I think the thing that most people do after that is feel incredibly upset and then wear his gear and level it all up.
Yep. Yep. First thing I did, first thing you did, put the gear on. And
Yeah.
I was very tempted to go and leave it in the undead parish by the statue. I was this close. I almost did it. I went there and I did a little salute the sun, and I thought, oh, do I? Nope, I want to keep it.
Because when I started New Game Plus on my original run, I did that in Solaire's outfit, and I took a picture when I met Solaire in New Game Plus with me wearing the same outfit, like standing next to him with us both sort of looking over the sun, and that seemed to be quite poignant.
Being cool friend bros.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
excuse me.
Solaire.
Oh, Solaire. I miss you, Solaire. But yeah, the ending I ended up choosing was the World of Darkness ending.
Mm.
And in the 20-minute gap we had between beating the game and coming back to do the podcast, because this only happened an hour ago, I had a quick. God, I've got the burp something fierce. Let me just. Ooh, that's better. I don't know what's wrong with me. I did a bit of. I looked up some theories on the endings. As to what happened on mine. I had a look at what happened if you do kill in the flame as well. Like, I watched a YouTube version of that, and I looked at some things. And
Okay.
I initially, I felt like I'd picked the bad ending. Walking out of there, especially with the Chester hat on, because it's got a little sort of grin on the mask. And I know it's just the mask, but it's like, yes, I am evil. Walking out with all the serpents bowing to you like you're in charge. It's like, it felt like like you were a bad guy at the ending. Like, on the very, very face of it. Like, oh God, I feel like I'm it's the end of the first Legacy of Kain Blood Omen game again. Where your choice was kill yourself, end all the vampires forever, or stay alive and completely fuck the world.
Mm.
And I think the bad ending is the canon one in that game. That Kain stays alive, and then the rest of the series happens because he stays alive at the very end.
Mm.
And I've never heard of a game that's picked the bad ending as the canon one, so that's great. And it reminded me a bit of that. Like I thought, I've walked on, I've kept my life, I've not killed the flame, I've not given myself to the flame, I'm still my own person,
Hmm.
and now I rule the world. And then I sort of you think about it a bit more, and I think I picked the good ending.
Uh-huh.
All's told. And my reasons for this are thus: the fire, the linking of the fire, is what keeps the undead alive. Am I right?
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, the fire keeps the undead alive, and like you walk through the land, and basically all the undead there have all gone mental. Like there's a lot of them, and all the at least the soldiers, shall we say, have all just gone completely mental,
Hmm.
and they can't really die. Like you kill them and you sit at the bonfire, and then they're back again. So you can't really like properly kill someone
Hmm.
in this. They're dead, but like even like the player character, you're dead, but you can regain your humanity and die and keep dying and dying and dying, and you're not going to die. By taking away the bonfires, you're essentially taking away this kind of immortality that the world seems to have achieved.
Hmm.
Um, and in a way, you're allowing the world to start fresh again because I mean it's all basically sort of fucked.
Well, something's desperately wrong with that world.
Mm.
And not just the dark sign that's appearing, and you've got the undead, you've got whatever Velka's agenda is, which I get the feeling we're going to find out more about in Dark Souls 2.
Mm.
The fact that tied into that Velka's people are inside the painted world, and also hidden in the painted world are essentially the things that can kill the gods,
Yeah.
or the mistakes of the gods, if you will. Um, and you've got Anor Londo, which is falling apart. You've got the whatever's happened to Gwyn's daughter, who's not mentioned, and it's often been tied into Solaire. That Solaire is Gwyn's son and has been cast out, has been removed from all these statues, and
Mm.
statues have been broken and stuff. And Gwendolyn, who's a boy seemingly crossed with with all those sort of tentacle feet that he's got, maybe there's a little bit of Seath meddling in there as well.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the girl in the painted world who's part dragon, and
Priscilla, I believe.
Priscilla is part dragon and part human, isn't she?
Mm.
She's a half breed. Maybe Gwendolyn was something where Gwyn uh, tried to tried to do something with his son, who's clearly been raised as a girl um, in light of the death of a daughter, or perhaps it's
Mm.
someone it's the girl that's been brought back, and the experiments of Seath have created these tentacles or whatever. Uh, and the Anor Londo is a lie. You get the feeling with the guy near the bell tower gargoyle, the guy that you can confess your sins to, and
Oswald of Kareem.
Oswald of Cream, yeah, that perhaps he's not there just to judge you, but he's there to judge the gods. And
Mm.
this is part of why things have undone. We've constantly mentioned the fact that when you go through the game, it seems that a lot of the things that you're doing are undoing the world even further.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
You,
You're
you know,
you're taking it apart and ruining stuff.
you know,
A
is
lot
it?
of stuff won't attack you until you do stuff that, like, particularly like ceaseless discharge, for instance.
Well, you're not just that. I mean,
Mm.
you've got the in Undead Parish, you've got that giant sort of that's guarding the. There's a firekeeper soul that's on a slab,
Yeah,
and Lautrec is locked up upstairs,
yeah.
and essentially you just take the firekeeper soul that he was locked up for killing the firekeeper for.
Mm.
So you're doing exactly the same thing. The greatest sort of example of this is the Witches of Izalith, and the fact that ceaseless discharge doesn't attack you until you essentially steal the clothes from his dead sister's corpse. That who's the guy that keeps invading you over and over? Um,
Kirk.
yeah, Knight Kirk is essentially sort of trying to get humanity for the mumbling spider girl to keep
Yeah.
her alive, and you're off in all of those, and Quelag is trying to get humanity as well, and trying to protect her sister who's in the next room. And when
Yeah.
you pull it apart, it's like you really are just tugging at everything and just tugging at the seams of everything
Mm.
and undoing it. And yet there's still that wonderful level of you don't quite know.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of don't quite know, while you mentioned the parish, I will mention this before we move on because I didn't know what happened, and I don't think you did either. I was revisiting the parish because I went to go see Oswald. Because I was at the point where I wanted to buy up everything I could before I moved on. On the way back, I noticed that by where you find the Firekeeper soul in the undead parish, in the same place as that Firekeeper soul was, there was now an item, and I picked it up, and it was 7 humanity and the pendant. The pendant that you can pick as a starting gift that apparently is the trick one that basically doesn't
Mm.
do anything. And I found them there. And I can't work out why.
So if, if
Seven humanity.
so,
7.
whereabouts was it?
Exactly in the undead parish, at the altar where the firekeeper is, the dead firekeeper where the soul is.
Mm.
It's there on the floor in front of the altar with the body on it.
Right, I'm double double timing, as it were, on my phone. Somebody's put. Uh, oh, here we go. Somebody's put. I happened to be walking through Undead Parish and found 7 humanity independent on the ground in front of the altar with the body,
Hmm.
where you find the first Firekeeper soul.
Yeah.
Has this happened to anybody else? It says an NPC was murdered there, was later killed by Petrus. Um,
Oh, Petros being the guy that sits around in Firelink.
oh my God, yeah.
Oh my god! Hang on. No, because I went to see Oswald and he mentioned Petrus. Come to confess your sins, have you? Oh, have I see you've been talking to Petrus of Thoroland, I see, or something like that.
Because
What did he do?
I remember a bit down in at one point where I went into New Londo ruins, and he actually attacked me in New
Oh,
Londo ruins,
yeah,
where I was like, "What?"
that's weird.
Um,
Oh my god, because yeah, Oswald up at the top of the Jesus, this is all coming apart now. He definitely mentioned something about Petrus of Thoroland sinning or being a sinner, and I was like, really? I thought he was, way of the white. I thought he was straight edge.
I'm just trying to find a bit more information.
Oh Christ, that's blown my whole head open.
When you go to the Duke's archives and get imprisoned in one of those cells, you will find her in a hollowed form, or sometimes just a corpse. So you can get her armor set and 7 humanity there if you didn't get it before.
Hmm.
Every NPC has a fate in this game. You can meet them in various places at various times, kill them, save them, help them, loot them. It's very frustrating.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
What did he do? Okay, well, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to need to sit here and Google that and research that. That's going to drive
yeah.
me crazy.
It says, but the weird thing was, I remember when I first finished the game, like way back. I went straight into New Game Plus, and you'd be amazed at how far you get in New Game Plus before you reach a barrier. You
Well,
just trolley through it. You're essentially like la 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 la.
you say that in the brief 20-minute gap between finishing the game and starting the podcast, where you went to get a cup of tea, and as did I.
Don't
I'm
use that word in my
sorry,
presence.
a cup of hot beverage.
Coffee.
I managed to get to the middle bonfire in the Undead Burg,
Hmm.
and I even killed the asylum demon the first time you see him, which was so I got his hammer.
Hmm.
And you're right, you respawn and you can just trolley through going lol 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 lol. Can't repair your equipment yet, because you've not met a blacksmith, but you can literally just sprint through the whole first bit, barely even hitting the ground. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I'm worried about the point where New Game Plus will start to be a barrier. I'm wondering where that might be. I think it might be the gargoyles, because I struggled with them before.
Now the gargoyle is a piece of cake. I'm sure I had a bit of trouble with them initially, but I'm doing a Wombro run through at the moment,
Mm.
gargoyles were a piece of piss, and also the fact that if you visit if you're human, you
Human.
you rescue Lautrec, then go back to Firelink, then you go straight back to the Undead Parish. That both Lautrec and Solaire are available to summon for the gargoyle fight.
Oh.
Yeah, which I've not seen because I tried it on the Wombro run, and I was
Mm.
like, well, there's no Lautrec sign, but I hadn't gone back to Undead Parish. I'd just sort of carried on up there, but yeah, the Wombro run through is going incredibly well so far, and you'd be surprised at the amount of stuff that you can do by simply leveling up weapons and armor rather than soul levels.
Mm. I mean, I'm glad that you told me about doing it that way when I began the game. Because I assume, like in Demon Souls, what I did is I just started pumping all my souls into my body,
Hmm.
leveling up as it were. And in Dark Souls, I definitely started more focusing on upgrading the gear before anything else.
Hmm.
And I think that mentality really, really helped because my gear was all, it was incredible, halfway through my gameplay. It was all really, really good gear.
Hmm.
And essentially leveling up yourself afterwards is just, icing on the cake, really. You've already got the decent gear. Now you're just tweaking the stats up a little bit every now and
Yeah.
again. And I think it's great advice because it's cheaper as well, I think, than leveling yourself up in those early stages. Um, you can get a sword to, +5, +10 pretty quickly, really, all things considered.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, like you run through, you can pick up, odd shards. If you know where they are, you can pick up shards and titanite not slabs, but you know what I mean, like titanite chunks and
Yeah.
shards, or wherever you get an idea of where the things are, so you can, farm them out really quickly and be in possession of some decent gear before you've even really begun, which is it's
Hmm.
phenomenally helpful. I think gear leveling up is what got me through that Capra Demon fight in the first part of the game.
Mm.
But we're going to start reminiscing now, and we shouldn't do that this time. We should do that next time. But yeah, I want to do a one bro run as well. I think I will probably do a new game plus run first.
I think you might find yourself doing both because it's quite addictive.
Yeah, it's happening. There's no way it's not happening. And like I say, I mean, I've already begun my new game plus run
Hmm.
at the speed of light. And I have no doubt that I will be back at Gwyn again within a couple of weeks, maybe less.
I'm just looking up a bit about Rhea of Thoroland and Petrus of Thoroland
Hmm.
because Petrus is that basin-headed motherfucker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the guy that sits at the bottom of the
Yeah.
stairs.
Um, where is it? It says because I've not really talked to him um after I bought stuff from him.
Hmm.
But it says after Rhea and her companions arrive, they will all lead for the catacombs. After you visit a few areas or quit and reload. Visit a few more areas and quit and reload again, and Petrus will have returned. He's quite distraught, claiming to have lost his lady. He still teaches you miracles after his return, but he's less talkative. Talk to Lautrec to learn what really happened. You must pay for this information, which will cost you your current level times 100 souls. Talk to Petrus
Oh.
again, and he will also tell you the truth that the lady is helplessly trapped in Tomb of the Giants, and that you can do as you please with her. If you rescue Rhea from Tomb of the Giants, we've all done that because Vince and the other guy have turned hollow at
Yeah.
that point. She will settle down in the undead church and the story will advance further. Talk to her in the church and Petrus will confront you with your action of saving her. Get this will make you angry and tell you that she's not worth her salt without her family name. If you
What?
let Petrus kill you after this, he might say, "Too bad for you, I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing," upon death.
Wow.
Ignore her, and she will be dead after you kill 2 or 3 more bosses. Talk to Petrus, and he will tell you that her death is terrifying news. If you choose to kill Petrus after Rhea's death, he will drop the ivory talisman, one of Rhea's belongings. She's not worth it. Too bad for you, I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. Um, and that she's not worth a salt without a family name. That makes me angry.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm sure on something like Bonfire Side Chat they said that if you look at some of the stuff that's surrounding those guys initially,
Hmm.
it suggests that there's something darker going on with them.
That has made me angry.
Yeah, it
I
makes me
thought he was a
really.
nice guy for the entire game, and it's only at the very end that you think he's not.
Yeah, it just makes you trust your instincts a little bit because
Yeah.
at the start he comes across as a bit of an uppity cunt,
Hmm. Well,
and
by the
he
way,
is
I've just googled that as well, and the thing that Oswald of Kareem says about Petros is he is drenched in sin.
really.
Drenched is the word that he uses.
Honestly, this is making my chest swell in a way that's anger and magnificence,
Yeah.
and
See,
and
I want to
yet
go back now and see all. I want to do that way and see, and like, I want to do it and see it.
I think this is part of the crux of why people keep playing the game
Mm.
because it's immense fun to play. We know that, and you can go through your different builds and try different stuff. But when the lore and the actions of characters have got you by the throat like this and are shaking you, you want to know more. You want to get a sort of a more crystal perspective on
Yeah.
exactly what's going down. I had no idea about what you said. I hadn't heard that at all before, and it makes me angry. It makes me just want to see him straight away and just think, "Fuck your way of the white. Fuck him in their tight little ass." And just stab him to death with
Isn't
your
it just? I mean, like, I
stupid
wouldn't
head.
have known that if I hadn't have gone back and just sort of said, "All right," to Oswald. I wouldn't have even thought of it. He still acted completely normally. I went and talked to him shortly before the end, and he, because I was going around buying up all the miracles and stuff and that, and he was just like, "All right, how you doing? All right." He didn't mention anything like that at all.
So when does Oswald of Karim mention that?
I went to see Oswald literally at the very, very end of the game when I was
So
sweeping things up. So
this is
he might have said that way earlier. I don't know. I haven't visited him in a
no,
long time.
no, I don't. But this is highlighting something for me that I didn't know. That obviously there are NPCs that you see in different situations, and you'll see Onion Bro in Anne Orlando, and
Hmm.
you'll see his daughter,
But
and
you'll catch some
you know
air here and there.
yeah, and you kind of think to have conversations with them because you've not seen them in those situations before, and they've
Yeah.
usually got new dialogue for you. But I didn't really think of speaking to NPCs that I'd spoken to before in that way. I know there's that Dusk says something different after you've done the DLC,
Yeah.
and I don't think that was in there beforehand, her dialogue. But I had no idea the likes of. God, I'm looking at his picture now on Wikipedia, and I hate him.
You want to punch him on it, don't you?
Honestly, I would have punched my phone. Um,
you wolf in sheep's clothing, dick.
but honestly, that really makes me angry
Revelations.
because even though sort of Petrus and Vince and the like are very snotty with you,
Hmm.
she's always actually really nice.
Yeah,
She's
Ria
really
is. Yeah.
calm, and she's at one with her mission and her journey, and and her religion, and she just seems very very sweet and very giving. And oh, the the Petrus drenched in sin. I'm gonna have to punch in now and just see what it says.
It's something much like he was when he's drenched in sin. And do you
That's
know
a
what
that's a
worries me
wonderful
now? Do you know
word.
what worries me now? What
Yeah,
worries me? Who else has been a knob that we don't know?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like like for example, let's just pick the sorcerer that sits near Big Hat Logan at Firelink Shrine, the one that you rescue quite early.
Yeah.
I forget what his name, like someone of Vinland or someone, isn't he? No,
Hmm.
not Vinland. Vilheim. Vinland was Demon Souls.
Yeah, I think it's Philheim. Yeah.
Someone of Vilheim. Anyway, yeah, but like, did he do anything bad? Did the pyromancer that you rescued do anything bad?
Hmm.
Like, is everyone a dick? Is there anyone that isn't evil?
Yeah.
And after all this, I'm kind of bloody happy that I decided to not kill in the flame and let the undead curse finally die and let people finally die, because I'm finally getting rid of these arseholes.
Oh, apparently, Lautrec also says that Petrus is bad.
Ah, but I wouldn't
Um,
believe Lautrec because he's bad.
Yeah, but no, I think you're wrong on this. I think a lot of it is about perspective, and that Lautrec's on his own journey, and it's even said that those kind of prongs on his armor are so that the religion that he believes in, that his lady can intertwine her fingers
What have you seen on his
within
armor?
them and
There's
raise him
it's
on.
the front of his armor is a pair of arms hugging round him.
Is it really?
It's the embraced armor of favor. Yeah, it's a pair of
Oh
arms.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's at one with his religion, but I mean, he's coy, and he never particularly lies to you. He
Mm.
never he's never really the wolf in sheep's clothing, is he?
No,
Because
he's definitely a wolf. He's more like a wolf in
he's
hyena's clothing.
he's a wolf essentially. He's never anything more than he is.
Yeah.
And once again, he's got a perspective that it's a
But
religion.
okay, so go with me on this little tack of train of thought then.
Mhm,
So he was killing the firekeeper at Firelink
mhm,
to try and, snuff the flame essentially,
mhm.
which is what I ended up doing. At the end of the game, I didn't like the flame, I snuffed the flame. So
Yeah.
was he trying to accomplish the same thing that we were?
This is something else, yeah.
Bloody
And
hell.
what's the religion that he believes in? I mean, is that an ending that we ruined? Does he believe that by being embraced by his goddess that he will turn the world in a different way?
Mm. Wow. Oh god, it's all coming apart. So I think I did the good thing at the end, but I feel like I've wronged Lautrec now, and I thought he was a knob for like the last 80 hours or however long it's taken for killing the firekeeper, and now all of a sudden I think maybe he was doing the right thing, but being
Well,
a bit of a dick about it.
but look at the firekeepers. I mean, the firekeepers are essentially imprisoned women.
Mm.
And it was mentioned before that uh, obviously we can see the firekeeper under Firelink, but where are the firekeepers
Yeah,
underneath the other bonfires?
where are the rest?
Are they buried alive? Are they buried underground?
Mm.
Which is terrifying. And like I say, when you go into the undead parish, when you steal that firekeeper soul that was being protected by the giant guy, that's presumably what Lautrec was locked up for trying to do.
Mm. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Oh god.
Hold on, I'm just looking at something else, and apparently Lautrec does just relate to Petrus quite a bit.
Jeezies.
Oh God, this is Le Can du Worms.
Yeah, I suddenly regret all of my choices.
Yeah, but this is what pushes you into like further playthroughs, though.
I wonder if I can not kill him in the next new game.
You just go through like because wasn't it Mike McWhirter went through the game, and then after he completed everything before going to Gwyn,
Hmm.
he went killing all the NPCs,
Yeah.
and I was like, Really?
Well, I suppose you're just going to get their gear and move on, aren't you? So,
Yeah, but I'm sorry if I walked into that bit with Hawkeye Goff, I'd still find it immensely difficult to kill Goff. Even though I've done it in one playthrough just see what it was like, my heart was in my mouth when I killed Kieran because
hmm.
she was essentially in love with Artorias. So
Gorgeous armor, though.
apparently, a few people have left messages around Petrus saying "liar" and "beware of fatty."
Like it. I like it.
Oh, this is going to mean we're going to be delving into lore at this point.
Yeah. So my next run of the game, which I've already begun, I now most certainly will be paying a bit more attention to what people are saying. Now that I've got some of the facts, I think it'll be that thing where you read a book again, and also like, oh my god, yeah, they bookmark that really easily.
But this is akin to a book where every character's got about 5 or 6 options.
Mm. and there's a lot of there's a lot of depth there that you don't necessarily see until the end, and you start thinking it over and realize, hang on, wait a minute, maybe that was a good, maybe they were a good guy all along, or at least not a good guy, but not a bad guy.
But
They were just like the Trek. Maybe I'm not thinking he's a good guy. Maybe he was just a guy.
I'll say this: how do you write this game? How do you even approach writing this game? Because there are so many events that are triggered by other events, and so many characters that have got different options within their own journey and how that affects you. And I still have no idea why Beatrice died, and I picked up her clothing near Valley of the Drakes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's
I,
just you find odd bits of gear, or like finding, like you say, Rhea's gear. I think the antiquated dress and stuff.
well, you kill
In Seath's bit in the Duke's archives, you're like, why is that here?
you kill Kurt sort of a few times, and then his gear actually turns up near the Spider Sister, the mute Spider Sister. All this is freaking me out. I mean, I've had this game for how long? It still has this stupid control over me.
It's amazing how well they've hidden this stuff. Like, and again, what I like is I think what you like as well is there's lots of smaller stories happening within the game.
Yeah,
Lots of smaller stories, and unless you do things in a certain order, you're not going to see them. You know, things are going to occur without you.
yeah.
Like Petrus, I didn't even realise he went into the Tomb of the Giants. I always thought he just sat at Firelink. I never knew he even left.
I remember who is it that she's down there with? She's there with Vince and someone
Vince
else. But apparently,
Nito, I think, yeah.
if you talk to uh, him afterwards, he just said that you can have your way with her. Because it makes me angry. Apparently,
Oh,
even Lautrec, if you speak to Lautrec, I presume if you get to that point before Lautrec's sort of journey's done, that Lautrec is dismayed with Petrus. God,
God. Layers like the onion.
I've now found a little bit where it's talking about little hidden things, and it says here, derived from his title, Nito was special because he was the first person to ever die.
Oh. I'm. I don't know. That makes me smile a bit.
Hold on, I found something
I've
else here.
died, so I am the Lord of the Grave.
Yeah. From joining the Dark Wraiths, you learn that the Fourth Lord, as referred by Karth, was the progenitor, sort of predecessor to man. Assumed that it received the soul of lords last or after the War of Dragons. Gwyn, who feared the potential of man, sacrificed himself to prevent and distort the reality of the Fourth Lord's awakening. Those who have the potential to carry the dark sign, that's you, are unaware of this due to Gwyn's doing. Honestly,
Here we go.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think we should draw to a close there because
yeah,
we're going to be talking about odds and sods all night if we're not careful.
we just the 9-hour podcast where we wander through Wikipedia and Google and just like, oh my god, you never guess what I found.
The Drake on the bridge. It used to be Solaire. Maybe not to that level. But yeah, I think we should draw to a close because we are going to talk all night if we're not careful.
So we're going to wrap up as a
Yeah.
episode. And,
Next week we'll wrap up the whole experience. I'm not gonna do it, but I'm gonna try and listen to as much of the podcast as I can, and try and refresh myself a bit. Maybe the earlier episodes anyway, and try and refresh myself and see what we thought earlier compared to what we think now.
Because from those early episodes, I was relatively experienced with both of the games.
I know nothing.
You'd shunned Demon Souls, and then you clicked with Demon Souls, and you were coming into Dark Souls afresh, and it was the experience versus the inexperience, or mixed with a little bit of a love of the previous game. And it's going to be a nice bookend on that to to share your thoughts, even do a contrast and compare against demons. And
Yeah, definitely. Now it's all over. We can do a contrast and compare,
and we'll
and
see
maybe a look to the future as well,
where we go from here, whether it be New Game Plus or One Bro or
or all of the above.
because I was thinking with the One Bro playthrough, I mean, a lot of the time you're not going. I presume you're not going to be able to summon people at a certain point because
Unless you're lucky. No,
the
no.
summon level is going to be way higher than you are. So a double One Bro op would be quite cool because at least you're relying on one another.
Yeah. You're not wrong there. I particularly have a bit of a soft spot for the Iron Bro run, where you have one death. When you die, you lose. I'm
Same.
quite a fan of the One Bro idea. I don't think I could ever beat it in a million years. But
Pe-
gosh
pe-
darn, am I not
People
going to
have
try?
done it though.
People have done it. Yeah, people
People
have
have
done
done
it.
it. So yeah, I don't know if there's certain bosses that they skipped with that because I presume you can skip people like Manus and things like that.
Priscilla, you don't need to go see. I mean, you could skip
Yeah.
the entire DLC, I suppose, really, couldn't you?
But why would you?
Yeah. Calamite, oh Jesus.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like something that we could have a bit of fun doing that.
Indeed, indeed. But we will talk about that another time.
Yes.
If Thank you everybody for listening
Yeah. Thank you.
to our nearly the end of the Dark Souls podcast, Twin Humanities. If you're on the YouTube or the Twitter or the whatever, just do the +1s or the thumbs up or the likes or
Let us know you're out there, please, because it would be nice.
yes. If you have any questions for us as well, we'll take some questions next time. If you have any questions, you can tweet those at us. That'll be at Paddy Stardust or at Coffee Jesus, and that's with a Z instead of the first S of Jesus.
That's Z to you American types.
As they say in America land. Yeah, again, thank you all for listening. My name was Paddy. Friend's name was CJ.
It still is.
Hurrah! And we will see you again next time for the last episode with the wrap-ups.
Indeed. Goodbye, people.
Bye!